new episode, know you probably waiting. Plant a seed in your brain, let me pollinate it. And I'm not like the rest, I don't do the faking. You are now tuned into Bro Conversations.
You see the title of the video. Man. I had to do it. I ain't been on Netflix for a while. I cut on Netflix. I was like, man, I need to start doing more reviews, more movie reviews, more TV reviews. And what did I find? First thing I found when I click on my account, Cobra Kai come out with a new season. And guess what? It's trending #1. How could I not review it? Anyway, I ain't about to chitter-chatter too much longer. The album done, introverted Inception. Copywriting about to be done. I'm just about to throw this shit out. I don't give a fuck about the release date. I'm about to throw this shit out, promote it, and yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm about to jump right into the, I guess some of my thoughts on season 4. First of all, season 4. First of all, a lot of shows. I was watching Lucifer in between watching Cobra Kai, and at one point I was thinking about reviewing Lucifer. But so much shit happens within like a 2 or 3 episode span. It'll be a random ass character come in and then he'll try to kill somebody. You know, if I did Lucifer, it would have to be like every 2 or 3 motherfucking episodes. That shit is crazy and so much shit going on. But Cobra Kai, it really got the perfect length. Like I was watching JoJo, the anime, JoJo Superstar, something like that. The dude with the blue hair or whatever. It's only 1 season, 10 episodes, or at least on Netflix or whatever. It's only 1 season, 10 episodes. And in the beginning and the end, they shoved a whole lot of information within the first episodes and the last episodes. Like, that's something I'm learning to appreciate as a fucking movie and TV show consumer. Like, the pace of the shit. You can have a Grey's Anatomy, 37 seasons, but what's the pace of the shit? Like, can somebody do an accurate review without leaving big things out? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, Cobra Kai, most definitely, they encapsulated the perfect amount of episodes, the perfect amount of information. It wasn't too much going on at one time rapidly or whatever. But yeah, though, man, Cobra Kai. First of all, one of the first questions I even wanted to ask is, I wonder how much that they paid the 4 original actors: Silver, Kreese, Johnny Lawrence, and LaRusso. Silver, Kreese, Johnny Lawrence, and LaRusso. David LaRusso or whatever. I know his name is LaRusso. I want to know how much these original actors from the original Karate Kid got motherfucking paid. They just brought Silver back, and that's another thing I want to talk about. First of all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just exit this motherfucking video. If you're not caught up on all the 4 seasons, exit this shit right now. I guess this is for a niche audience. This one, but first of all, one of the things that I found very funny throughout the whole 4 seasons is every time one of the grandmasters or the creators of the karate scene, which is Kreese or even Johnny Lawrence, LaRusso was the only one. He was the only one, the one that trained under Mr. Miyagi. He was the only one that continued doing karate throughout his entire life. He taught his daughter and shit like that. And, he was still using those practices and stuff like that. But everybody else, Silver, Kreese, and Johnny Lawrence, they was just living life regular. They put down karate. They moved past it and shit like that. They wasn't obviously practicing, but every time each one of those motherfuckers came back, they was like, oh, I got my mojo back. I got, like, without stretching, we ain't see none of these, niggas stretch. We ain't see none of these niggas actually go from block A to the black belt or whatever belt that was it. So I thought that shit was funny and kind of hard to swallow, hard to agree with, hard to really see that shit happening, but it is what it is. Another thing, Kreese is the perfect villain. I think I probably watched Karate Kid back in the day, probably a few years ago, whatever. I don't remember every single thing in it, but that's another thing, man. The flashbacks, and the references that they take from the older movie and shit like that, they're perfect. this is one of those perfect reboot shows because they can actually teach you about the original shit. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time when people make reboots or, you know, it's a new generation of some shit, it really don't, you really gotta know the original shit, which is, I guess, cool for the fanfare, but for the casual fan, especially probably the casual Netflix watcher, you know, like I consider myself to be, it's super dope to see that, you know what I'm saying, see that character progression, see the similarities between LaRusso's kid, like the new generation and the old generation, you know what I'm saying? It's and just the way it was shot, like just the way it was shot, like I feel like a lot has changed in a lot has changed ever since something like Fred Sanford, you know, or Sanford and Son, you know, came out, because that shit, it kind of gave you a little insight into their lives, but it was all based on jokes. It didn't really get intimate, and I understand that because, you know, TV and shit and just plot. That's why the show You on Netflix is so fire too, because they get so deep into the thoughts of each character and what they were thinking, what the little things, what they choose to hide from their significant others and shit like that, and they really get deep, so you really know who these people are, and I that's something I really appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Just to see the progression of film and TV, period. You know what I'm saying? That's it's most definitely dope. Yeah, like I said, Kreese is the perfect villain, man. Perfect villain. He got the perfect evil laugh, the perfect face. Like it's so crazy. I really want to know, and I could probably look it up, but it's better for the sake of conversation, me not knowing, like how much did the original people get paid? Like, it had to be a substantial amount to get them all four of them, and on top of that, to get all four of them, and on top of that, I believe Mr. Miyagi's son, is in it too, and he and towards the, let me go on order. Also, something that wouldn't have happened in the original, which is really, I love the innovation. Well, actually, they would have had to do it, because honestly, yeah, they would have had to do it. The meshing of karate styles, the meshing of Cobra Kai, and the meshing of Miyagi-Do coming together, especially, and it was showed, you know, in the tournament and shit like that. I forgot the name of the tournament, but you know, the big tournament that, you know, happened when when he was like, when LaRusso was like this in the original one, you know what I'm saying? That's an iconic moment, iconic pictures, you know what I'm saying? People put that shit on t-shirts and shit like that. It was dope to see both of the opposing sides in the original shit come together to fight a greater force, you know, which is the evils of Kreese and Silver, you know what I'm saying? That shit was most definitely dope. And like I said, that wouldn't happen back in the day because people, they were so, just like rap people, they were so just committed to their style. They was like, oh, I'm not about to switch up what I'm talking about, or I'm not about to switch up whatever, because I want to keep it true. I want to keep it to the roots. You know, it's thousands of years old. This style is thousands of years old. You know what I'm saying? And you got to carry on this tradition yourself. You know, it's a lot of pressure for LaRusso, and you know, for all the shit that he had to motherfucking deal with. You know, and it was dope to see LaRusso's son actually be a bully to somebody else, and just that dynamic. Like the daughter, LaRusso's daughter, it's crazy, I should know her name, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The daughter, LaRusso's daughter, was the golden child. She was the oldest. She was the prodigy. Yeah. She was the prodigy and the shit. And you could really tell that it blended a whole lot of shit. The new age parents, the dangers of technology and shit like that, cyberbullying and shit like that. Like, they really made it realistic, which was dope. They really, like, it was like, okay, this shit really could happen today, you know? Another thing that was super dope to me, season 3, I'm going back and leaving a little further. Johnny Lawrence, his pupil, Miguel, when they had the street fight, or not, when they had the brawl, I guess you would call it the brawl in the school or whatever, Miguel broke his back. The doctor said he didn't think he would walk again, and Johnny Lawrence actually building him back up to actually walking, not even just walking, fighting again and shit like that, you know. And it's dope to see also the dynamic of master and student, especially when the master isn't at the place that they would want to be, i.e. Johnny Lawrence or whatever. He was pushing all his failures onto Miguel to make sure that he did better than him. And, you know, when the time came from the turn when the time came to execute at the tournament, you know, it was dope to see that dynamic and to see Miguel not follow in his footsteps and not be forced just to do some shit just because the sensei wanted him to do it, you know, because he wanted the glory. Johnny Lawrence, he don't feel like he's adequate, you know, and it makes sense because he's been told that by his sensei and by everybody that he's looked up to in life, so it makes sense. But you know, that's a dope dynamic. But at the same time, like I said, Johnny Lawrence, he helped Miguel get back to full, you know, he nursed him back to health. So, you know, it is what it is. One of the biggest things that happened at the end of the season, it was only like 10 episodes. I just got the major points out the way. I didn't want to go really, really deep. Like, oh, this will happen in episode 1. But it was really dope to see Silver wise up and see that Kreese was gonna hold. Silver and Kreese, they was in the war together. If you watch the shit, you know they was in the war together, Vietnam, and it was dope to see that Kreese saved Silver's life and saved the whole platoon's life because he volunteered to go kill himself or whatever, and I don't know, he volunteered to go die because the Vietnam people, they I know it sounds crazy, but it is what it is. The Vietnam people, they wanted to kill Silver, but Kreese volunteered himself, and somehow, some way, they all got saved or whatever. And ever since that day, Kreese has been using that over Silver's life to make him make decisions, like, you know, like doing shit like, oh, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here type shit, you know, so you listen to me, I'm top dog, I'm the general and shit like that. And it was dope to, and even, damn, I didn't talk about this, but it is what it is. The introduction to Silver from in the 4th season, that was dope. To see Silver go from this hard-ass karate teacher back in the day, you know, see the flashbacks, and he's like a mental health guru, got boatloads of motherfucking money, got eccentric, nah, fuck that. Got eccentric friends, you know what I'm saying? Some part of the LGBTQ, all the other shit. It was literally a 180 from how he was depicted from the original Karate Kid. I really appreciate that. And on top of that, Silver was a master pianist. He was playing songs, going crazy on the piano, you know? And but he still had that thing inside of him. I guess that was buried, you know, along with the PTSD and the memories from the war and shit like that, you know? And Kreese just knew how to ignite it in him, you know? He knew exactly what to say. Kreese is the master manipulator. He never owns up. He's the perfect narcissist. He never owns up to anything that he did or does wrong. He only did this to make you stronger. Only did, you know, he never takes any accountability, and he's great. He's really, really great. He's a perfect villain. Like, I can't name too many more perfect villains, especially for a role like this. But even in other movies, I'd love to see him, the dude to play Kreese. But yeah, that I don't even know if I said it. That was dope just to see that dynamic of Silver getting back into karate and, you know, stuff like that, and really igniting that fire in his soul of competition and really trying to be better, and just slight insanity because he was insane, you know, on the original Karate Kid. He was torturing a damn teenager and shit like that just because of some bullshit tournament, you know. A grown-ass man, like, just going crazy. But it was dope to see Silver actually grow as much as he did, and he actually ended up beating up a dude and telling that dude he beat up a dude because he didn't want him to join Cobra Kai. Was a grown man. He didn't want him to join Cobra Kai, but he beat him up, and then after that he whispered in his ear, he said, if you want to join Cobra Kai, tell him that Kreese was the one that beat you up, not me. And he got Kreese set up, took him to jail, going downtown. That shit was a real shock, a real surprise. But like I said, Kreese is the perfect villain, so I don't think he'll be down for long. He'll probably be down for the first like 3 to 5 episodes. In the next season, he'll probably be in jail. But after that, he gonna come back and get his get back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was dope to see, and that was a real. a real surpriser. Like, you would not expect that of anything. Like, is as much. But at the same time, when Kreese re-recruited Silver again, Silver was the one that had all the ambition. Kreese wanted it to be just like it was back in the day. Silver's like, nah, well, I want multiple dojos, you know what I'm saying? I want throughout all the valley and shit like that. I want multiple facilities. I want new clothes for the team. I'm trying to really bring the resources that I have to expand it. Kreese was just trying to make what they had stronger. Silver was trying to expand it and make it as big and viral and you know as possible, and that was dope to see that too. To see him subtly come in and teach lessons and stuff that Kreese didn't even 100% believe in to his students and stuff like that. You know, about weaknesses and stuff like that. It was dope to see their heads clash, but yeah, like to see Silver betray Kreese, it was like damn, like that was most definitely suspected. Also, towards at the end, Miguel wrote a note shortly after he lost the contest, the karate contest, the tournament actually, and he lost it because he kind of, I guess he kind of forfeit because at a certain point he felt like he wasn't fighting for himself, he was fighting for his coach, you know what I'm saying, and that's exactly what Johnny Lawrence went through, you know, just a flashback to what I was saying a little bit earlier about that, you know, so that, you know, so he didn't care about winning and shit like that. He ultimately just wanted, at the end of the season, he just wanted to find out who he was and his roots and stuff like that. So he went to Mexico to find his real dad, you know. He went to Mexico to find his real dad because every time he tried to ask his mother about it, she got upset. She didn't want to talk about it and stuff like that. And Johnny, he also had a conversation with Johnny Lawrence, his mentor, his sensei, about his dad and shit like that. And Johnny said he don't even know. He said he's not even ready to, you know, he's not even ready to deal with those feelings or even confront, you know, his dad for whatever not being there and shit like that. So it was dope to see him take that first step and just have the courage enough to be like, you know, this is what I need to do. I need to find out my past so I can really get a full view of my future. So he wrote a note to his mom, left it on the kitchen table. You know what I'm saying? Said, hey, I'm about to go find my dad. I'm cool. I'm good. I'm gonna be safe. Blah blah blah. So he left on his own. That was really a real spin and was really motherfucking unexpected. But it makes sense when you really take a step back and look at the whole scope. But yeah, though, man. That's basically all the bullet points that I got for season 4, man. The season 5 review will be most definitely on the motherfucking way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, season 5. I cannot wait. This TV show is written immaculately, and I ain't even get to the sub stories and shit like that. You know, just seeing the teenage angst, you know what I'm saying, and the eventual tribalism, you know, and the different ways of handling issues. It's either violence or preservation, you know what I'm saying, or you know, or defense. It's either offense or defense. It really teaches the kids like a lot of lessons, and it shows how childlike they are because they're, you know, they don't think as adults. They're erratic, and it's like, oh nah, fuck you. You did this to me, I'll do this to you. You know, and it's really dope just to see those dynamics change throughout the whole story and shit like that. You know. But yeah, though. That good old lemon water, man. But yeah, though, man. That's about it. That's about it for the Cobra Kai season 4. I feel like I explained it, you know, adequately. If you know the show, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. And if you don't, please go watch that shit. That shit is, I should be getting paid for it, but it is what it is. Please go watch that shit. Season 4 of Cobra Kai. Don't watch just season 4 if you ain't seen the rest of the season. That shit is amazing. Shit is immaculate, perfectly written, amazing pace, easy to keep up with, and hard to take your damn eyes off. Like, I binged the fuck out of that shit just for me to watch this season. It took me I was off the last 2 days, so it took me about a day and a half, you know what I'm saying, just to get it all in my mind or whatever. But yeah though, man, Cobra Kai season 5 is on the way. I would do Lucifer, but it's the plot is way too far along now. But I would have to do that with somebody else just to get all the ideas out there. It's just too much information. This is too much. It's like a fucking Blacklist. Blacklist got 17 seasons, but the same thing happened on every episode. But it's interesting. But it's like the same fucking thing happened, and then some people need to learn how to quit when they're ahead. Quit when they're ahead. But anyway, that was the Cobra Kai season 4 review. OG Odie, Bro Conversations, and I'm out. Drink water. Peace.
For a new episode, know you probably waiting. Plant a seed in your brain, let me pollinate it. And I'm not like the rest, I don't do the faking. You are now tuned into Bro Conversations.